What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Outlet Show. Things are a little different here today as we're seeing everybody up on the screen from the get-go. That's because we mean business here on the draft eve night. The 2023 NFL Draft is coming tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Very excited. We're doing a full first-round draft here today, guys. As always, I got my co-hosts with me. I got Braden Wilkins, Brent Allegra, and Christian Naylor. Boys, how are we feeling today?
Feeling great. I'm very excited for this mock draft and the real thing tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pretty hype. Looking at some prospects here. We got Stetson Bennett, Max Duggan. I'm going to draft them in the first round. I think they're first-round talents.
Yeah, you do that, man. You do that.
Do that. Congratulations are in order to one of our outstanding co-hosts, Christian. Congratulations and welcome to the NFL.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Should be exciting.
And we're gonna go ahead.
He got drafted.
He did get drafted.
Hopefully tomorrow night.
They used their first round pick on you this year, Chris.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, kind of figured. Anyways,
yeah,
we'll go ahead.
Happens, when you're as great as I am, it happens.
It does happen sometimes. We are also entering two of our boys here in the next month to the graduating class and getting bachelor's degrees like Brent and I here. It's about time, guys. It's been a while.
Thank you.
It's about time. Well, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into what we're doing here today. We're going through the entire first round of this NFL mock draft. We're going around the horn picks 1 through 31. We are missing one pick this year from the Miami Dolphins having that first round pick suspended. To no surprise, no avail there, guys, for tanking. So that's tanking for Tua, who is kind of losing brain cells at the moment. Other than that, I don't know. Quite literally. Anyways, here's what we're going to do, guys. First of all, we got to open the draft. So it is my honor for the Sports Outlet Show to officially open the 2023 NFL mock draft for the first round, barring a trade a couple months ago and taking a pick from the Chicago Bears. Picking number 1 is going to be the Carolina Panthers, my team on the clock. Boys, I'm going to go ahead and get the clock started up here. Go ahead and take it away about the Carolina Panthers this year.
Yes, so, I think if the Panthers make the right selection, which I think they will, I do think they have a shot to win the NFC South. That division is pretty wide open. The early favorites would probably be the Saints, in my opinion, just because they added Derek Carr and they have a pretty good roster. But I feel like adding potentially Bryce Young to that team would be huge. I really think they would have a shot to make the playoffs.
So are you going to say that he's going number 1 overall?
I think he will.
Ooh. I think we know for sure it's going to be a quarterback. It's just one of the 4 guys that we've talked about. I think it is going to be Bryce Young as well.
I'm going with Will Levis,
Oh.
Nice pick after yesterday.
The buzz.
The buzz. I really think that he could do some damage there, and I'm really excited to see who they pick, and I think there's always that quarterback that's going to be a bust in the draft, and I really don't see him being that guy that's a guaranteed bust right off the gate.
Chris, you need to stay off Reddit, man. You need to stay off Reddit.
They stay off a lot of things, but as I've said in the past, I've been pretty lucky with who I pick at quarterback in the draft. So, just saying.
Okay.
Don't be surprised.
All right, so we know who Chris is taking if he falls to the Colts.
Oh, you already know. I will tell you up front, that is who I'm picking. So,
no transparency here. We like it.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys because I know you guys might not need it. So,
all right, guys, just got the pick come through my phone. We're ready to rock and roll here with the first pick in the S.O.S 2023 NFL mock draft. The Carolina Panthers tomorrow night will be selecting quarterback Bryce Young of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, this is a no-brain decision here. Honestly, I can't really think of another pick that is coming from the Carolina Panthers. We're going to be talking about it here as Braden, you're on the clock with the Houston Texans. Guys, Bryce Young he's got everything of the future that a quarterback needs. In my opinion, he's the number one slam dunk overall pick. I was on the CJ Stroud train for a very long time. You guys know that. But some of the recent comments, some of the recent testing, it's cause for concern. It's cause for concern of, is he going to be able to step in day one with this veteran, wide receiver core with Adam Thielen and DJ Chark bringing a little bit of a presence to help out Terrace Marshall Jr. with the addition of Miles Sanders. This is somebody that needs to step in on day one. I'm sorry, Andy Dalton, but Bryce Young needs to take immediate from the helm with this new coaching staff. What do you guys think about pick number 1?
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young is as slam dunk as it gets. He's already played in a pro-ready offense. Alabama, that's about as pro-ready as you can get. He's playing against top-tier SEC talent, and he played really well for the past 2 seasons. Some weaknesses he might have. He's the first quarterback since 2003 to be drafted in the first round that weighed under 205 pounds. But that really is his only weakness, and I don't really think it's something to be concerned about. His body type is pretty similar to like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, so I think he'll pan out for sure.
No, I'm extremely excited. Chris, what you got real fast?
I mean, I like we discussed before, he's not my favorite pick to think. I have some faith that there might be a different pick tomorrow night in the draft. So, I mean, he's a great pick, but is he just a safety pick that everyone's going to think that he's coming out of college and he's going to be top of the game as soon as you leave? Everyone's going to expect him to be at the top of his game as soon as he gets to the NFL, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be too much hype over his name, like there always is as the number one quarterback taken off the board.
Are you calling him Bo Callahan, Chris?
I'm not calling him anything. I'm just saying what it's going to be.
Speaking of Bo Callahan, phenomenal movie. I'll be watching it tomorrow, draft day. Had to at least shout it out once. Some of the best movie lines I've ever seen in sports history is going to be on that. Braden, I see the pick is in. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, some would argue for the Texans. They got a lot of different options here at number 2. Some people are thinking that they might wait on a quarterback this year and try to tank for Caleb Williams next year. But for me, pick number 2, the Houston Texans are going to select quarterback Will Levis. We've seen they have a lot of hate for him, or a lot of hate for CJ Stroud recently. We've seen that come up. So I think Will Levis is going to be their guy. I think he's more pro-ready than Anthony Richardson at this point.
Okay. Honestly, when we were talking about that before, that would have been a shock to a lot of people. But Will Levis has been an absolute tank. Can we talk about how buff this guy is, too, for a second? This dude's jacked.
He's huge.
And he's really grown since his, post-college career. I mean, over the summer, just getting his offseason workout and just doing what he's got to do to get ready for the NFL. I think he's preparing himself a lot. He's setting himself a lot more up for success right now.
And I love getting the extra protein in with eating the bananas with the peels on. That's just immaculate training that I've never seen before.
Are we not going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals being on the clock and what Brent's doing?
I like it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyways, number 3, Arizona Cardinals, 2 quarterbacks off the board real fast. Obviously, from the Arizona Cardinals, we're not going to. Brent's on the phone. There might be a trade going on here quickly. We're gonna have to stand by and tune in for that one.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
I think the Texans just go ahead.
Brent is going off here in the comment section about the Texans. We're talking about the Mayo Man. We're talking about Will Levis, looking like the Mayo Man is being loved by the triple. We're gonna have to see if this is how things hash out on the draft tomorrow night. But guys, I'm just so excited. But we've never done something like this before. 50 seconds left for the Cardinals. Still no pick in. Okay. As I say that, the pick comes in. So we got about 40 seconds here, guys. Braden, talk to me about what Kyler Murray is going to mean to this team moving forward for the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, we have that injury at the end of last year, so he's going to be missing a lot of games to start the season. The Cardinals are looking pretty bleak. So the future for the Cardinals is going to rest on Kyler Murray once he comes back from injury. If he can provide with the lack of the team that he's going to be losing DeAndre Hopkins, possibly Budda Baker. if he can do anything with that team, he's going to be the quarterback of their future. If not, he's probably going to fall off a cliff and just get replaced here in the near future, possibly next year, with the Cardinals potentially snagging that number 1 overall pick next year.
Guys, I am actually getting trade rumors here that a trade actually has been accepted for the number 3 overall pick. It's looking like we have a new team on the clock here at number 3. They'll get a fresh 2 minutes. At number 3, trading up, the Las Vegas Raiders are now on the clock here for number 3, trading with the Arizona Cardinals. While that pick's coming in, I actually do have the trade details for you guys. This is going to go from a trade with the Raiders. Oh, wow. For pick number 3, the Las Vegas Raiders have traded pick number 7 of this year's draft, a second-round pick number 38, a fourth-round pick number 109, a 2024 first-round pick, and wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, for pick number 3 here in the draft for the Raiders. Guys, you have to think they're going quarterback here at number 3.
That's crazy. That's a big package.
He changed it to the Raiders. I love it. This is fantastic. The Las Vegas Raiders trading. This is something that I could see happening tomorrow, actually. The Cardinals trading back. They don't need that franchise quarterback. They believe they have that in Kyler Murray. It's just a matter of time to see what's going on. But I love it.
Yeah. Hunter Renfrow, I feel like he was really good 2 years ago and just kind of fell off a cliff when Devontae Adams got here. And I'm wondering if he's going to be able to help out that Cardinals offense.
Interesting. The pick is in, guys. Braden, he's got about 40 seconds here. Chris, who do you think, if it is a quarterback, who's coming off the board here?
C.J. Stroud, no question. You're going to trade up that high. You're going to go with the second best quarterback, I think, in this. Not personally think in this draft class, but on the board, the third best draft one. Third best draft pick. Well, yeah. So you kind of have to go with that. And I mean, it's only a surefire bet. And if they don't do it, I think they missed their mark tremendously on this.
All right. Well, we do have the pick in. Brent, what do you got for us over there in Las Vegas?
All right, boys. With the third pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select quarterback C.J. Stroud, Ohio State. And let me give you a little justification on the pick. So what I have written down for him, I honestly didn't think he'd get down this far, and that was one of the big reasons why I traded up. C.J. Stroud, he doesn't hesitate to attack with his throws. He has the arm strength to air out the deep ball, and I think he's the most accurate quarterback in this draft. However, he does have some weaknesses that need to be taken into consideration. He seems to be hesitant at times with his legs, and he can sometimes refuse to come off that primary receiver. It doesn't impact him much when he's throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State, but it might impact him in the NFL.
This is really interesting. And Chris, we are going to throw the Indianapolis Colts on the clock here with number 4. So feel free to take your full 2 minutes there. C.J. Stroud going at 3. So we're talking 3 quarterbacks back to back to back. The Indianapolis Colts coming up, who in the team needs is definitely considering a quarterback. But after the first 1, 2, 3s going, there's a lot of defensive playmakers here on the board still, guys. Is that something Indianapolis is looking at if this does happen on draft night? In particular here is something that's got to be thought about by Chris here for the Indianapolis Colts. Here's this clock's ticking down. We're going Bryce Young, Will Levis, C.J. Stroud in that order. A little bit of a surprise if you were talking to me about this in January, but wow, 3 quarterbacks, 3 futures being pinned in a heck of a package there for the Arizona Cardinals, coming away with a slew of picks, Hunter Renfrow and a 2024 first rounder. So which person on the phone was angry there, Brent, when you were talking? Who was mad? Who couldn't get the deal done?
I mean, me as the Cardinals GM, I just couldn't get that deal to go through right away. The Raiders were asking, or I was asking for a hefty price, but the Raiders weren't willing to give in. But I got it through. I yelled at him. He gave in. I was hyped.
I got to say, as the Raiders GM, that's a great move to jump ahead of the quarterback needy Colts. The Colts need a quarterback really bad, and if you hadn't jumped up in front of them there, they would have gotten your guy for sure. So I think that's a great move by the Raiders GM there.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals are not selecting a quarterback. I don't care who's there. They have too much invested in Kyler at this point, and I don't think they'll draft a quarterback.
You don't think they'll draft a quarterback? I agree.
Yeah.
You know, we did just unveil his Heisman Trophy here, so legally I have to say I agree. Anyways,
I'm not saying it's the right decision, but it is the decision.
the pick is in here for the Indianapolis Colts at number 4. Chris, go ahead and take it away here, man.
I mean, with the 4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Devin Witherspoon, Illinois.
Ooh, I like that pick.
Cornerback coming off the board. Chris, give us a little in-depth what's going on here. A lot of passing on possibly here Anthony Richardson or possibly one of those big house defensive ends, defensive tackles.
Really, when I think about the Colts, I think about quarterbacks and secondaries. They've had some big issues in both positions these past few years. And I really think after taking 3 quarterbacks straight off the board, the top 3 quarterbacks, they're going to be able to get another quarterback in the next round that's just as good as, Anthony Richardson or the Hendon Hooker that need to be proven in the draft. So going with the safe bet, drafting a cornerback, especially since it's a need for them. And I don't think they can wait a whole another round for a cornerback to come in their hands. So it's a safe bet. You already have 3 elite quarterbacks taken off the board. You're going to have a little bit of leeway towards your second round to draft a cornerback. Or might as well take an elite defensive guy off the board now, so you're good.
I will say the cornerback position is the most loaded in this class, and Devin Witherspoon highlights that position group heavily. He's a great corner. His completion rate allowed was 34.9% last year. So he is a very impressive corner, and I don't hate the pick at all. I really like that pick for the Colts there.
Absolutely. I think he's the best corner in an absolutely loaded cornerback class. So how can you not fall in love with him and just take him when you need him? If you need secondary, he's a great pick. And I think the Colts are going to be very happy with him if this is how it plays out.
Now, any regret there, Chris, for not taking a quarterback? Maybe Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson, for me, I haven't fell in love with him. He's really young, Richard's sophomore. So he's wildly inaccurate. I mean, he hasn't really proven himself enough in college. And I think that's a major step. If you can't prove yourself in a college setting after, yes, you had one great season, but, this is the NFL. It's a different game. Even if you're really good in college, you're not guaranteed to succeed in the NFL by any means. And as a man, you might as well take someone off the board that's proven, someone that's new to the game.
Yeah. And I think they picked up Gardner Minshew over the offseason, so maybe they can look to rely on him for a little bit while they're waiting on that quarterback position. I think Gardner Minshew is a very solid option. If he needs to start, he can. And I think with the weapons like Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, he could find some success there in Indianapolis.
Their smartest bet is just to teach a young quarterback how to play the game before they put him in the game.
Yeah, exactly. You can get somebody in a later round that you want to develop and teach, and that doesn't have to start day one. Looks like we got a trade going on here between the Seahawks and somebody else. They're running out of time on the clock here, but that's all right. I think they're going to get the deal done. A lot of conversation going on here. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see who's trading up and who Seattle wants to give the pick to. I think 3 quarterbacks coming off the board to start off is crazy. I think it's super – I don't know how realistic it is, but I think it could happen. And I think even 4 could happen if the Colts are looking at number 4 as well.
Yeah. Which would be insane.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump on in here.
That would be crazy.
The Seattle Seahawks have decided to take their selection here. A deal could not get done. We had reports about them discussing here a possible trade, but we'll talk about that as we talk about the Seattle Seahawks pick. At number 5, the Seattle Seahawks in the 2023 NFL Draft do select Tyree Wilson, defensive end out of Texas Tech. Guys, this is an excellent pick for the Seattle Seahawks. They are dying there at defensive end. They really need to get that defense back to the Legion of Boom. I think it's something the Seahawks have been desperately wanting for a long time. It definitely helps them defensively. I know there's a lot of talks about the Seahawks trading back, a lot of talk about later on in the draft taking a quarterback. I think here they're getting their guy in Tyree Wilson. I think he's a phenomenal pick, the 6'6", 271-pounder out of Texas Tech. I think he's going to be a generational playmaker for the Seattle Seahawks moving forward. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about him here recently. He's gotten a lot of draft buzz. I can't say I've done a ton of research on him, but based on what I've heard, I think he'll be a really good prospect in the NFL.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, reports did come in that the Seattle Seahawks were trying to trade back with the Tennessee Titans. They could not get a deal done, so we're going to continue to move on here with the number 6 pick in the draft. Braden, you're going to have 2 minutes on the clock as the Detroit Lions are on the clock after acquiring this pick from the Los Angeles Rams. All right. Detroit Lions, number 6. This is a really big pick for me on draft night. This is something I could see going a couple different ways. They really need a tight end, but it's really early to take that tight end. They're looking at that cornerback position. Brent, you were talking how stacked that is. Chris, what do you think Detroit's looking for here on the clock? Are tight ends a little early, cornerback, or could they take the best available in a Will Anderson or a Jalen Carter here?
I mean, honestly, the Detroit Lions are a really special team because you really don't know what they're going to do on the field. You want to say quarterback as like a third resort, kind of last option, because, I mean, as we see, it's not going too hot with Jared Goff over there. So, but I really expect them to see the pickup, maybe a wide receiver just to help them a little bit with Jared Goff, and so it can propel them kind of to the next level.
Yeah, I could see that definitely. I would see wide receiver more at their second pick, just because I feel like receiver would be a little too rich for the 6th spot here. But yes, there's still 2 elite prospects on the board, in my opinion, and Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. And I feel like either way they go with those 2 guys, I feel like it would be really big for the Lions, especially pairing up with Aiden Hutchinson. That would be huge.
Absolutely. No. Pairing up with Aiden Hutchinson is kind of a deal in itself, and we talked about this last year with Trayvon Walker going number 1 overall. Again, it bit the Jaguars in the butt last year, but at the same time, he's still going to be one heck of a player, and he's the consistency that the Jacksonville Jaguars need. The question is, are they going to get help with Aiden Hutchinson on defense, or are they going a different way? Luckily, Braden has the pick, and he's ready to go. Braden, what do you got?
Yeah, the 6th overall pick in the 2023 mock draft is going to be Will Anderson Jr., edge out of Alabama. I think at number 6, the Detroit Lions are absolutely flabbergasted that he's still here. Some would consider him the number 1 player in the draft. I just think they're happy taking the best player available here and trying to develop Will Anderson into a superstar.
In my personal opinion, and as we move over now to the Arizona Cardinals, who recently traded back at pick number 7. Brent, you're going ahead on the clock with the Arizona Cardinals. Personally, I think that Will Anderson might be the best player in this draft, period. Offense, defense. He is he can play anywhere on the field. Obviously in the front 7.
Yeah.
When we're talking. He can play outside, inside, defensive end, defensive tackle, on the edge. He's everywhere. He's quick. He's fast. He's got a wicked first step like Vontae Mack. He's an incredible player. Definitely something I'm looking forward to. You guys got anything else on him?
I just think they're looking at 2 players there, the Lions are. They're both looking at best players available. They're looking at Will Anderson, or they're looking at Georgia, Jalen Carter. I think Will Anderson is a safer pick with just the off-the-field issues that Jalen Carter has had. So I think they're very happy with their pick there, the Lions are.
It's a good pick. It's a really good pick. I'm going to quickly update my draft board here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great pick.
And I think it's possible for the Cardinals here, after trading back, that their guy's still on the board. The guy that they've been looking at all along, he might still be on the board for them. They can just snag him up right here.
That is exactly something I think the Cardinals are thinking about on draft night too. If this quarterback frenzy really does happen as quickly as it does, they're making out like bandits with a trade that, like Brent proposed. Excuse me. Again, that's not necessarily something that could happen, but adding another wide receiver in Hunter Renfrow with the departure of DeAndre Hopkins looking likely is definitely big for the Arizona Cardinals. And it looks like the pick is in. Down to the wire here, Brent, taking up all your seconds. Down to 0. Arizona Cardinals, number 7. What do we got?
All right, boys. With the 7th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia. So this was kind of the scenario I was thinking of earlier when I decided to trade down. Jalen Carter he's a top 3 prospect in this draft. If you take his legal concerns, put them to the side, he is a top 3 prospect in this draft. He has leverage that makes him hard to redirect once he finds that edge. He absolutely rockets off the snap and is able to play with his premium speed and size, and he will be a home wrecker for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with that departure of J.J. Watt, they're going to need some help up front. Chris, we're going to go ahead and continue to talk here, but we're going to move onto the clock. The Atlanta Falcons here at number 8. So go ahead and take it away. Now, the Atlanta Falcons is a little tricky. The Atlanta Falcons I can see going a numerous amount of ways. They need a quarterback. They need an edge rusher. They need a linebacker. They need a corner. They need a safety.
They need a lot.
Where do you think they're going here?
I don't know. If they're willing to take the risk with Anthony Richardson, I could see that paying off. But I'm pretty sure he's only started 13 games at the college level, which is a little concerning. That's why he's fell this far. But yes, they definitely have a lot of different avenues to go, and there's still a lot of elite talent on the board. I think you mentioned, did you say they needed a corner as well?
Yep.
Christian Gonzalez is a guy that's on the board that I really like, and I could see them taking Christian Gonzalez as well.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are in the position to take best player available here. They got a lot of holes to fill, in my opinion. Quarterback would be interesting, but they could also afford to wait another year because they're not going to be competitive right away, I don't think.
And it does look like that pick is in quickly here from the Atlanta Falcons. Chris, what are we doing over in Atlanta?
Well, considering what's happened in the past, 3 picks, it kind of showed my hand a little bit. But with the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons draft Van Ness out of Iowa. Need a solid defender. Like I said, the question kind of after the first 3 picks are sought after. You can get a better guy in the second round that'll do just as good as the guys left on the board. You're really looking for a defensive edge guy to just kind of come in and strike pain. Quarter position, I mean, we saw them do kind of decent last year, kind of iffy-washy, but they did decent. And I can see them waiting over until the second round to pick a defensive or a quarterback guy. But their biggest need right now with what's left on the board is a defensive edge rush.
I like the pick. I actually like the pick. I think Lucas Van Ness is somebody that's sneaky, somebody that's kind of being undermined here by Tyree Wilson, by Jalen Carter, by Will Anderson Jr. Definitely somebody to look out for draft night as he's ranked number 15 overall. So we'll definitely see what happens there. After an earlier trade this year with the Carolina Panthers at pick number 9, the Chicago Bears are on the clock.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick by Chris here, by the Falcons. Like I said earlier, they're in position to take the best player available, and if they feel that's Lucas Van Ness, I'm all for it. I think he's pretty versatile as well. He can put a lot of pressure on, and I think they need a great defensive piece. They have some pieces in the secondary, but on that front seven would be very valuable to them.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. With this next Bears pick here, I feel like there's a decent amount of avenues they can go as well. They've obviously made a ton of upgrades so far this offseason. And I could see them getting in a situation where they're in the thick of things in a playoff race down the stretch. That's how much improvement I've seen the Bears make this offseason so far.
They really have had an impressive offseason. They've added some weapons for Justin Field. They've shored up that back seven. That defensive back seven or front seven is going to be crazy with the linebackers they added.
Yep, and then the addition of DJ Moore as well is it's obviously the best receiver Justin Fields has played with thus far. And I'm interested to see how DJ Moore does from his perspective, because it could very well possibly be the best quarterback DJ Moore has played with as well. So we'll see how that pans out.
All right, guys. I'm ready to rock and roll here if you are.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, at pick number 9, the Chicago Bears select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, Northwestern. So this is a pick a lot of Bears fans are either going to love or they're going to hate. It's going to be right in that middle ground. But again, while I was listening to you guys talk, and it definitely helped my decision making, is we talked about all those new weapons. We talked about DJ Moore. We talked about getting Deonta Foreman, giving that help to Khalil Herbert. We talked about a bunch of trade packages for the future for the Chicago Bears. If the Chicago Bears can protect Justin Fields, keep him healthy, and keep him in the pocket to make big throws that people don't think he can make, this team is dangerous because the Chicago Bears have some speed behind them. And having Peter Skoronski being able to protect Justin Fields, whether it's on his blind side or on his front side, is going to give him that extra second in the pocket that could really develop him. So that's where my mind was at with the Chicago Bears pick. What do you guys think?
No, I mean, I completely agree. The glaring weakness of the Chicago Bears is that offensive line. They've been horrific the past few years. Justin Fields has not had a ton of time to make throws, to make plays, and somehow at the end of last year, he was able to do a pretty good job with that. But adding Peter Skoronski is huge. This is a guy that can play tackle, that some analysts have even said might be even better at guard. If they put him at guard, he could potentially be a Pro Bowl player right off the bat. I think he's that good of a blocker, and I think he'll do tremendous things for the Bears.
No, I definitely think it's something to get excited about in Chicago. And again, they have an absolute handful of picks to go through this draft, next draft, and things are looking really, really, really bright in Chicago. Like,
You know what I'm
really
going to
bright.
say? I don't really like the pick.
You don't like it?
Yes, they need an offensive line, but I think their biggest issue is at defense. And I really wanted them to see taking a defensive tackle, especially with all the defensive ends that have already went off the board. You know, defense is a hot commodity in the NFL right now. And yes, your offense is bad, but I think you can get an offensive line in the second or third round. But your first round defensive guys are some of the best guys off the board. And I really wanted to see him take a defensive guy off the board with that.
Honestly, I was pretty torn, and I agree with you, Chris.
I get it, because the last 4 picks, I mean, you know, your defensive guys, the last 4, you know, major. But was that really the best guy, number 9?
No, I completely get where you're coming from. And again, if one of those top 5 guys are there, come around that time, I definitely think that's the way the Bears could lean. They definitely need to fix that O-line as well. But I mean, a couple holes that need to be fixed in there for them to really become a contender. The Eagles pick is in. I think it's fairly obvious, but I'm gonna let Brain go ahead and take it. Obviously,
you know, the Eagles here after losing the Super Bowl, I think they're primed to be a good team for a while, or at least I'm hoping. And I think finding themselves here at 10 is not something they're going to be used to for years to come, and that's not something that they're going to be able to do. So with this opportunity, they're going to take an absolute difference maker and running back Bijan Robinson out of Texas.
It's the right pick, period.
You dirty dog, you.
He's so explosive. He's by far the best running back in the class. He's in a tier of his own, but there's still a good amount of decent running backs in this class, to be fair. But I think Bijan is just such a difference maker, and I'm very excited to see him plug in. And with Rashad Penny as well, if he can stay healthy, that backfield is deadly.
I know I'm about to be on the clock, so I want to get this in real quick. This is my absolute nightmare on draft night.
I think it's the entire league's nightmare. There are literal reports about no team ahead of the Eagles want them to get Bijan Robinson.
I'm terrified as a Giants fan. I mean, y'all saw what you did to us last year. Adding Bijan Robinson to that roster is horrifying. It's horrible. And if he didn't play the running back position, which is very undervalued, he would not be going this late. He's an elite prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, speaking about elite running backs, the Tennessee Titans, Brent, are now on the clock. If that happens on draft night, if Bijan Robinson's drops to 10, I'm not even in the NFC East, and I'm scared.
It's exactly like Brent said. It's just because the running back position is so undervalued, because there's a million of them. There's a lot of good running backs. But if you can get a running back as good as Bijan behind that offensive line, it's going to be scary.
Going from a team that's absolutely flying high up in the sky, we go to the Tennessee Titans that are literally crashing and burning as much as you can in the AFC South, besides the fact that they're getting a new stadium soon. So that's pretty cool. Did you guys see that? Their new stadium is going to be lit.
I did see that, yeah.
It's quite literally awesome.
I mean, I don't know how I can feel about the Titans after losing their best player. I don't know if I could do it.
Who's their best player?
Rest in peace, Taylor Llewellyn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that got done dirty on every graphic there was.
Tough scene.
That was a tough scene. I'm really intrigued with this pick, actually. I'm really intrigued what could come here. The Tennessee Titans have a lot they need. A lot, especially if they're thinking about trading trading Derrick Henry. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. Braden, here, countdown in 35 seconds. What do you think's coming?
I think the Titans are in dire need of a quarterback. I think their quarterback situation is very, very muddy. But do they want Anthony Richardson is the question. I think this scenario is very likely it gets to them with Anthony Richardson still on the board, but they're asking themselves if they want another project quarterback. And I think this is also a trade up or down spot for the Titans with that Derrick Henry conversation looming. There very well could be a Derrick Henry trade on draft night.
I like that. I like that take a lot. Well, Braden, here's the good thing. You don't have to wait much longer to see who he's picking. Brent, what do we got? Where are you finding these?
I had to get the logo. All right. So, with the 11th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Tennessee Titans select quarterback Anthony Richardson, Florida. And just for a little analysis here, some people might hate the pick. Some people might love it. I think he is probably the most elite first-round quarterback prospect we have ever seen when it comes to size, speed, and strength. He had 5 40-plus rushing yard touchdowns in his 2-year career at Florida. And again, that was only in 13 games. His weaknesses, and there's a good amount. This is why he's at 11. He's inconsistent and inaccurate, making it hard for him to have sustained success, and can often lose track of coverage and will throw into danger. Those are glaring weaknesses. But the short story with Anthony Richardson is this. It's a true gamble. If he doesn't hit, your team could be set back for years and years to come, especially if you trade up to get him. I know he fell this far. But if he does hit, boy, will we see a quarterback that has some of the most elite potential we have ever seen. And his comparison is Cam Newton. And I think he might have even better athletic traits than Cam Newton.
I agree, and we'll continue talking here about Anthony Richardson. Chris, you're on the clock here with the number 12 Houston Texans. Go ahead and take that time as well. Their second pick here in the top 12. They actually, and I've been told this about 700 times by one of my coworkers, they have 5 picks in the top 20, top 75 of this draft. It was either 5 or 6. The Houston Texans have a lot of picks. They have a lot of directions that they can go. Really interested to see if they do. If here they went Will Levis. We'll see if they go somewhere else. But what will the Houston Texans do on draft night itself is the real question that we're looking for here. The Houston Texans, are they going to go with Will Levis? I don't know. Are they going to go quarterback at 2? Again, we don't know. But back to Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is probably – he's like going to a roulette table and betting on 00 green.
Yep.
Putting all your money on the house. Like, because the green money, when that hits, the house is winning 99.9% of the time. He is going to be a generational pick if he remotely has the career of Cam Newton did in Carolina. In my eyes, that's a success.
Yeah, no, and I mean, how I see the Titans right now, they're in absolute free fall. They went from being a good playoff team, and their talent is diminishing. They're getting rid of players because they can't afford to keep them. Having a project quarterback on his rookie contract with the talent of Anthony Richardson, I think it's a gamble they should be willing to pay, or else they're done. I really think that.
No, I mean, it's something that has to happen. The era of Ryan Tannehill is gone. Like it needs to be finished. Even if Anthony Richardson doesn't start day 1, it's time. That's all I have to say.
If it doesn't pan out, you got Caleb Williams next year. You'll have Arch Manning in years to come. There's definitely some good prospects coming up.
Chris, here at number 12, where are the Houston Texans going after taking Will Levis?
Oh, with the 12th pick, the NFL draft, the Texans are going to select Quentin Johnson out of TCU. Gotta love the pick, especially with drafting a young quarterback so early. You're going to need someone to complement him. Yes, there are great wide receivers off the board, but none other than the TCU wide receiver that showcased himself in this year's college football playoffs. He has the speed, has the height. I think he can do NFL, especially a little underrated because a lot of people want to see him maybe the second wide receiver off the board, but I really think number 1 the first wide receiver off the board should belong to him.
I mean, he definitely showed up and showed out throughout the entire college football playoffs. He was a big reason they were there. I mean, he looked phenomenal. He's definitely one of the best wide receivers in college football coming into this draft. Very interesting about some of the people going over. But again, I never question things on draft night because Jalen Reagor was taken before Justin Jefferson one year, apparently. Last I double-checked on that. After a trade earlier this week with the New York Jets, jumping up from 15 to 13, Brent, the Green Bay Packers are now on the clock. Chris, I want you and Braden to break down this. Brent, get out of here. I want you and Braden to break down this Aaron Rodgers and what this means for both franchise.
I mean, for the Jets, it's obviously a slam dunk win. I think that's one of their biggest issues these past, season after season of why they have a downfall. Definitely the quarterback position has been a big question for them, and I don't think they can figure it out. They honestly can't figure it out. And I'm really scared to see that if Aaron Rodgers goes there, and because the Jets have an infamous history of not being able to figure out a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is going to turn to a Brett Favre incident down there in New York. Want to see him succeed. I mean, I've always been a supporter of Aaron Rodgers through everything, but for the Jets, it's if you can't succeed with Aaron Rodgers, you can't succeed. Fine.
Yeah.
And for the Packers, it's time to see if the Jordan Love experiment has paid off. If Jordan Love does not pay off, the Packers are going to be back to square one out of any championship that they're going to see and last place in their division. I think it's a make it or break it year for them as well.
I think that's fair. I think it's about time they got the deal done. The Jets did give up a haul, so the Packers have a bit of insurance with the picks that they got out of it. But yeah, like you said, if Jordan Love doesn't pan out, which I'm hoping he does, I'm rooting for him, then this experiment will be a fail. But I think the Packers need to provide him some weapons because that's something they struggle to do with Aaron Rodgers at times. So if the Packers can get him some weapons, maybe this draft pick here, then that'll set him up for success.
Yeah, I definitely like that. We see the pick is in here with the last 30 seconds. Make or break here for Jordan Love, who's finally going to get a chance to shine after being a shocker on draft night. Who's to say that if there's a quarterback available, they don't do the same thing? You never really know what's going on at Green Bay. Brent, pick number 13. What do you got?
All right, boys. With the 13th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, Ohio State. And I want this scenario to happen on draft night because I think it would be just hilarious for the Packers to draft a receiver in the first round after Aaron Rodgers left because they never did it for him while he was there. They never gave him the elite weapons he was craving. And I think it's a real possibility that they do draft JSN. And he's often regarded as the best wide receiver from Ohio State in that 2021 loaded wide receiver room with Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. He averaged 192 receiving yards per game in the last 5 games of that season. His weaknesses, below average top end speed, and he's likely to be viewed as a slot guy in the NFL. But that stretch of games in 2021, it was electric. And if he does anything remotely close to that in the NFL, I think the Green Bay Packers got themselves a steal.
Yeah, I completely agree. Braden, we're going to put you on the clock here with the New England Patriots for those 2 minutes. Jackson Smith-Njigba, again, he's had some health problems. That's the only big eyesore that could possibly happen. But that'd be really funny for Jordan Love to have JSN on his side. It'd be a phenomenal pick for essentially a rookie quarterback coming in. I know he hasn't really had too many snaps. He came in for Rodgers a couple of times this year with that broken thumb. But in my opinion, he might be the best wide receiver in the draft. You can throw him in with any of these top 4 and make a case. But I mean, Jackson Smith-Njigba, him and CJ Stroud looked phenomenal together. And if that's something the Houston Texans wanted to do, QB wide receiver, they could pair them back together. But again, that's not a way I would see the Texans going with a quarterback wide receiver of that sort. If they do, we're just gonna have to see. But other than that, I love the pick, Brent.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. You're welcome. So who's making this pick, Braden or an Alaskan Husky dog?
It's definitely the dog.
That's the real question. What is Belichick going to pull? Is he going to pull out something strange again this year?
I think he'll trade back like he always does.
That's fair. But I mentioned the word strange because they drafted the kid out of Chattanooga last year in Cole Strange, a dude that was like a 3rd round, 70th pick in the 1st round. Hasn't worked out too well. Again, I'm not somebody to judge though, but we'll see. We'll see. The pick is in for Bill Belichick, and wow, it's an interesting one. Braden, what do you got for us? You're on mute, brother. It's like COVID Zoom.
It is. I'm no Husky dog. I don't know how to work to Zoom. With the 14th pick, the New England Patriots are going to select Paris Johnson Jr., tackle out of Ohio State. I think that he kind of gone a lot higher in this draft. I think him and Skoronski are the tackle 1 and 2 by far. So I think the Patriots are happy to shore up that offensive line. Maybe since we were talking about Cole Strange didn't pan out too well or hasn't panned out yet, he still has time. But that gives them another option to shore up that offensive line and give Mac Jones some more protection.
What are the odds later in this draft the Patriots are going to go quarterback?
I could see it. I could see them going with the Stetson Bennett type later on.
It does seem like a Belichick thing to do.
It does.
That
That would be
really-
interesting.
That really does.
Stetson Bennett is definitely a Patriots quarterback. Let's just get it straight.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put myself on the clock here with the New York Jets. Y'all talk about what's going on the New York Jets side and Zach Wilson in practice.
All right,
Actually,
boys.
this whenever he's talking about with Zach Wilson.
I might need to leave myself in the chat for Zach Wilson.
No, I mean
Bum.
the Jets. Yes, they needed a quarterback. It was their glaring weakness. They got him, Aaron Rodgers. The problem is, I think they gave up a little bit too much for it. Aaron Rodgers has
What are you
been
thinking? Everything is too much?
what?
Everything is too much for them?
No, I'm just saying this trade was ridiculous.
It was a lot.
Aaron Rodgers has been talking about retirement for like the past 5 years. If he were to retire after this season, the Jets gave up an absolute haul for
Well,
a
he's already
1 year.
committed to playing another season, so.
Yes, he's playing this season.
No,
Beyond
he said he's
that,
going to play another season after that. He's committed to 2 seasons.
this is the first season in 5 years he said that, so I wouldn't. Maybe this is.
I mean,
the
I thought he
season.
was going to retire 2 years ago, so we're on the same page.
I take everything Rodgers says with a grain of salt. This offseason, he was.
I mean, up until 3 days ago, we didn't know if he was actually going to retire or not. So,
yeah, but I think there is a possibility for it, and I feel like the Jets gave up a little bit too much for it. Basically, 2 firsts. If he plays 60% of the snaps this season, next year's pick becomes a first. It's a lot.
That is a lot. The first round pick additional. But speaking of the New York Jets, I might have a small solution. Here at number 15, this might be a little surprising. With the number 15 pick in the NFL draft, the New York Jets are going to select Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. Can somebody name a tight end that Aaron Rodgers has had that is efficient, fast, quick, and can block?
Mercedes Lewis.
All right. Can I kick him out? Can I kick him out, please? No, think about that. Think about every tight end he's had throughout his career.
He had Jimmy Graham for a second.
Robert
When he
Tonyan.
was like 45.
That's fair.
Robert Tonyan, who had a Mickey Mouse Pro Bowl year. Imagine giving this guy a weapon at number 15 with Dalton Kincaid, and he's already got Garrett Wilson on the outside. That's something he can play around with. Again, they might be looking at another wide receiver to put over that as well. I'll continue talking about the Jets as Chris, you're on the clock with the Washington Commanders. It's something they're looking for. Maybe they'll throw Sauce Gardner out there at wide receiver. I don't know. He can play both ways.
He got his boy Alan Lazard over there.
He does have his boy Alan Lazard.
I do like the Kincaid pick. A lot of analysts are comparing him to Travis Kelce, which it's definitely a hefty comparison, but he does play a lot like him. I'll give him that. He's very, very quick. He has top end speed like no other. He's definitely the best receiving tight end in this draft.
He's definitely something that they need. Like I can't think of a tight end that Aaron Rodgers has ever had that is good. You can name some wide receivers like Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Devontae Adams, all those weapons, but I cannot think of a single one. As the pick is in for the Washington Commanders, Brent, where do you think Chris is going here? He knows this team better than anybody else.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't think it's quarterback. I don't really know a lot of the Commanders' needs, to be honest with you. I really think their biggest one is quarterback, but I'm not sure if they're willing to address that. I don't know. I'm curious to hear.
Well, You don't have to be curious much longer. Chris, what do you got for us?
With the 16th pick, the Commanders are going to select Joey Porter out of Penn State, cornerback.
I like that.
Definitely needed something in the secondary. Yes, our O-line has been shaky, but with 2 offseason pickups, I think we're in a better position, and especially after losing Peter and Paris. You're kind of 2 guys that guaranteed first rounders. I feel like in the second round, you can come around, swing around for an offensive tackle and be fine. But when you need help with your secondary, find no others. Like we've already said, the secondary class is stacked, and getting the best ones now are going to be the key to success.
I like that pick a lot. I've heard him linked quite a bit to the Steelers, so maybe you just snagged him right from under him.
Speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're actually on the clock. With the number 17 pick, Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock. I'll throw up the 2 minutes here. That's me again. Definitely something you guys need to be talking about here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, trying to keep that 500 and above record alive.
Yeah, they've had the streak for so long. Kept it alive last year by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, definitely something they want to do. Real quick on the Joey Porter pick, Chris, I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
He was a guy I'm looking at for the Giants to take, and I kind of hope they do take him at 25. Wink Martindale is huge on those press man corners, and Joey Porter Jr. is the best press man corner in this draft. He's really, really physical on the line of scrimmage, and I love him as a prospect. I think that was a great pick, Chris.
Got to get him got to get the best weather early, especially with your cornerback position.
With the Steelers here, do you guys know what they need? I'm not really sure on their biggest needs here.
I know corner is a big need for them. That secondary is not great other than Minka.
Are you going to go with Christian Gonzalez or try yourself at another hand?
They don't need receiver because they just got one of the best, Allen Robinson. I mean,
sure, man.
What a slam dunk of a trade that was.
Hey, it was only for a 7th rounder, so maybe they can get the last bit of juice out of him.
But they did agree to pay half the salary.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think it was a win for the Rams.
For sure.
Whoever this Ian guy is, I think that's true. Cody Mauch definitely seems like a Patriots move.
I could absolutely see that. I could see that 100%.
That is one of my coworkers over in Oklahoma, big Texans fan. So he's had it rough. He's had it rough for a little bit, but
I think they're on the up.
Looking at 2-12, they're on the uppity up here. Number 17, I do have the pick in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if a draft works like this, Mike Tomlin's going to be walking around dancing and screaming. Somebody that in a mock draft is going as high as number 8. Number 17 for the Pittsburgh Steelers are selecting cornerback Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon.
Gonzo. I like it.
Gonzo is Gonzo off the board at number 17. Again, is it possible to happen? Absolutely. This is something I think is a little late, personally, as I do believe he is the second best corner, if not the first. That's definitely in consideration throughout the years. 6'1", 197 pounds out of Oregon. He loves to press up on people, and that's what the Steelers need, especially on a big wide receiver 1 or 2. He has a little bit more of that height. He has a little bit of that speed advantage with that double jeopardy there. I think he could be a big playmaker and learn a lot under some of the greats that Pittsburgh has had defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just have to pull the trigger on a guy like Christian Gonzalez. He didn't deserve to fall this far. He won't fall this far tomorrow night. I can guarantee you that. And you're totally right, Joe. He could be the top corner in this draft.
And coming with their second pick, it looks like Braden's actually going to get both of them on the clock here. Number 18 with the Detroit Lions taking their actual pick from this year's draft with 2 minutes on the clock. The Detroit Lions are ready to rock and roll, guys.
Now, this is a team. This is a team that is good. It's a good team. and I don't I don't think they have a lot of big needs. So I think this will be a tough pick for
Really?
Braden.
So you're thinking if they don't have any needs, then obviously you're going to predict them to make the playoffs next year.
I do. I actually do think they will make the playoffs. I
I
honestly
do too, so I'm not going to really complain with you.
I
really
honestly
think
think they'll win
they're
the
going to
North.
sneak in at
I think they'll beat the Vikings.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins can't really pull the trigger. The Packers are in shambles, and you go to the Bears.
I like the Lions a lot.
Yeah, they could
and
probably win.
That's Maddie's favorite team, so I gotta have some trust in my Detroit football Lions.
Hey, I told you I'm a big supporter of the Lions, so you're not going to meet a bigger Lions fan than me.
Let's analyze this trade call here. Gotta do some lip reading. Maybe figure out what's going on. Hopefully a deal gets panned out.
No, I really don't need a
Joseph?
deal to get panned off. I think it's not going to fall through.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't have faith in our boys.
No, I don't. They can't get the deal done. Never can be able to pull the trigger.
Which team do you think's on the clock? Which team you think's trying to move up? Let's look at Joe's teams here.
Well, yeah. Oh.
Chargers, probably not.
No.
Cowboys, I hope not. Saints,
Saints.
maybe. I
It's the
could see
Saints.
it. I think they have a good amount of needs, so
There's some big needs. It's the Saints.
it could be the Rams as well, who do not have a first round pick, but I don't know what they would give up for it. So we'll have to wait and see here. I mean, the time's up. If you guys want to make a trade, it needs to happen now.
I think we have a trade violation. We go to the next pick. That is the rules.
Hey, I have the next pick, so I'm all for it.
So we're gonna skip to number 19.
We did have there was a deal card in before it hit 0. They were finalizing, but it's in the clock. There
Brent, do you
is a
believe him?
trade.
Brent, do you believe him?
I don't know, boys.
No, we hit the mark.
I don't think so.
I'll give it to you.
We definitely hit the mark. All right. After a lot of considerations here, there is an accepted trade with the details that come after the pick comes through. Trading up from 21 to 18 is the Los Angeles Chargers, who are now on the clock. So just give me a second.
Yeah, as the Lions there, Joe really got me in at the last second there. I was about to submit the pick, about to send in the card. Then I got the phone call, and I was just got the deal. It was a great deal. I'm glad to do it. And the Lions picking up some more capital here. We'll reveal the details of the trade later, but I think it's a great trade for the Lions, and I think it's something they would actually consider. I'm just curious who you all think the Chargers are trading up for.
I don't know.
The Chargers.
I really don't know. Maybe a receiver.
They could.
I'm thinking.
They could use some...
My guess is Jordan Addison. That's my guess.
All right. Yeah, I think the Chargers could use help at receiver, just with the injuries that their two top guys have been having these past couple seasons. They've been injured a lot. I think it's very interesting, the move to trade up here.
Yeah. I mean, the Chargers are a really good team. I could see them going a lot of different avenues for sure. Pick is in. Come on, Joseph.
Hey, we got the pick, all right? We got the pick. After trading with the Detroit Lions for the number 18 overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers do select outside linebacker Nolan Smith out of Georgia here. It was something we were really thinking about. There are reports that the LA Chargers are looking at trading up. Simple trade details here for you as soon as we put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock here for Brent. But what do you guys think about this pick and possibly what the repercussions are, of it?
I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Brady.
No, you're about to be on the clock. Go ahead.
I look at it as a a luxury. I look at it as a pick the Chargers don't necessarily need, but it might be the pick that pushes them over the top. Maybe gets them a little bit further in the playoffs, maybe gets them into Super Bowl consideration. So I like it for the Chargers. I'm just interested to hear what they gave up for it.
Yeah, we can tell you that real quick. We won't put you on the clock quite yet. We came to a consensus that in exchange for the 18th overall pick, that the Lions would receive the number 21 overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers third round number 85 pick, and wide receiver Mike Williams as well there for the Detroit Lions. Came to that consensus. There's been a lot about Mike Williams wanting to be on the trading block, become a wide receiver one somewhere, and there's a possibility he could become wide receiver number one in Detroit, especially with the suspension of Jameson Williams. I think this is definitely something that helped out both teams.
That receiving core when Jameson Williams is back will be very exciting to watch. You have 3 very different wide receivers, and I think all of them do a great job with what they're really good at. So,
Agreed.
Can we
And
just talk about Go ahead.
I think Brent is right here with this being a luxury pick. That front seven is already very strong. But when you see a guy like Nolan Smith falling this far, you go up and grab him. There is the talks for wide receivers. They do need a guy eventually, but there's a lot of decent, speedy wide receivers in this draft that I think they could grab at a later round. So I think Nolan Smith is a great pick here. He's going to be at a bit of depth. He's going to be great in that rotation that they have, and that front seven is going to be fierce.
I'm really interested to see number 19 here. Tampa can go a lot of ways. They got Baker Mayfield. They got Kyle Trask. But I don't know. I don't know. But
it's interesting.
I think I have a general idea of what Arians and Bowles are going to want to do since Arians is helping out in the front office. I have a general idea, but I don't think the draft has gone the way they want it so far.
That's fair.
So we'll see. We'll see. But Braden, I'm curious, after the Lions pick at 21, who you were about to pull the trigger on. We can expose that when we get down there.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I was sending in the card as you called me.
I saw the little bubbles and I was like,
It was right in the nick of time.
I was like, this needs to happen now. Looks like the pick is in. I don't know if I can contain myself any longer, guys. I might need to know now.
Are you ready for it?
You know what? Let's just do it.
All right, boys. With the 19th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select quarterback Hendon Hooker, Tennessee.
Wow.
Yep.
I know what y'all are thinking. It might be a little rich, but in my honest opinion, I think it's perfect. The Bucs, again, like the Titans, are in absolute free fall after going in on another season of Tom Brady in 2022, and they absolutely need a guy that can alter the state of the franchise. I think that guy could very well be Hendon Hooker. He's an absolute dual threat in terms of athleticism. He posted an elite touchdown to interception ratio of 58-5 in his last 2 seasons and is a very patient quarterback in the pocket. He is coming off that ACL tear, which is a concern, and he is a 25-year-old prospect, which is pretty old for a quarterback. But if he did not sustain that injury, I fully believe he would have won the Heisman. That's first of all. And he would be talked about in the same breath as Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. This was a guy who could have gone top 5, and I think you Hokies might agree.
Well, we didn't really get to see him play at Virginia Tech, so we can't say much on this. Hendon Hooker, definitely a guy that can jump in straight away and make a difference, and that's exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need at quarterback. He'll have some time to develop as well under the realm of Bruce Arians. I don't know if there's much Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask can mentor and teach him, especially since I think he might be older than Kyle Trask. But other than that, Chris has the pick in. Braden and Brent, what do we think the Seahawks are doing here without even being put on the clock? They're just ready.
I honestly forgot the Seahawks had a second pick in the draft. I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. They have a great young team, so I'm interested to see what they pick.
Yeah, they could pretty much go any direction here.
Well,
Ready for it?
oh, I'm ready for it.
Pick.
I was making sure you
Seattle
were.
Seahawks going to draft Osiris Wilson,
Torrance.
Florida. Sorry,
I like it.
last name.
Back-to-back Gators.
I respect
wait, I'm just
The
kidding.
way I
I'm
see
just
it
kidding.
here, the way I see it, I mean, the Seattle Seahawks allowed 46 sacks. That's a lot of sacks.
No,
Hear me out.
Osiris
Especially-
Torrance is
we saw the year Geno Smith had with that amount of sacks. Imagine him with a better offensive line production.
he's definitely the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. I'm pretty sure I think it was Jalen Carter who I was looking at. I'm pretty sure this is one of the only guys in college that could actually lock up Jalen Carter. So I think it's a really good pick at 20. Like we said, the Seahawks don't have a lot of needs. Interior offensive line is definitely one of them. So I really like that pick, Chris. It's a good pick.
Thank you.
It is a good pick. That's going to put the Detroit Lions here on the clock after an earlier trade with the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's see if they overall still got their guy they were looking for. If maybe they did, maybe they didn't, and maybe they came out with a nice little package of picks here. But extremely intrigued. But we're already here at pick 21, guys. We got 10 picks left after this one. This thing is flying. I'm intrigued here. The Detroit Lions, they already went with Jalen Carter.
Again, it's a tough pick.
It's a good team.
It's a tough pick.
The Detroit Lions are going to be somebody you don't want to mess with for a while, especially because I would never want to take Dan Campbell in a fight one-on-one, nor 8-on-1, 16-on-1, 45-on-1, and keep going.
This is another team like the Seahawks. Like I see the Seahawks and the Lions very similarly. They have a great, great young team with veteran quarterbacks that are good enough.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And I really think they're on the up and up, both teams.
Yeah. Well, Braden, you got the pick. Let's see it.
All right. With the 21st pick, the Detroit Lions are going to select tight end Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. This tight end class is pretty deep. And if we're being honest here,
Good pick.
Osiris Torrance was going to be our pick back before the trade. So we got our guy nabbed out from under us, but we added two weapons in the aging Mike Williams and Michael Mayer. So instead of ensuring up the offensive line, we sure up the guys that Jared Goff can throw to.
And Will Anderson with that third overall pick. So
Yep.
I
think
really-
the Lions are pretty happy with this draft so far.
if this happens for the Lions, I think a lot of fans will be extremely happy.
Mhm.
Wait, did the Lions pick Will Anderson?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jalen Carter for some reason. That's stacked.
Mhm.
That's a good 1-2 punch here. We'll move over to pick number 22. We have Braden again. That's what happens when you trade around.
Yeah.
We have the Baltimore Ravens now on the clock. I heard some person went to the Baltimore Ravens, Brent. He might have been on the Giants at one point.
Who is that guy? Oh, yeah. Odell Beckham Jr., baby. Hey, I'm still a fan. I don't care what team he's on. As long as he's not on the Cowboys, Eagles, or Commanders, I'll root for him.
You'll root for him on the Panthers? Good to know. This
I
is
would
good to know.
definitely.
Now the real question going in here is Lamar Jackson, A, looking for a deal, B, on the trade block, or C, is it going to be figured out in the next less than 24 hours?
I don't think they would have made the move for Odell if they didn't have some sort of assurance that he's going to be there.
Okay.
I think a deal is in the works, and it's probably going to be finalized before the season starts.
I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it seemed like for a while that Lamar was going to leave, but again, sometimes reassurance helps.
I thought he was gone too, but after that Odell transaction, I really think he's going to stay.
All right. Well, the pick is in here with 40 seconds. Any bold predictions on who the Ravens are taking, guys?
Potentially another receiver. I could see them going there. Maybe Addison or Zay Flowers.
Okay. Well, let's find out. What do we got?
With number 22, the Baltimore Ravens select Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. Brent, you're right. You had it dead on. I think they're going to make Lamar just a little bit more happy with another weapon to throw to tomorrow night. And with that, if they are selecting Jordan Addison, I would really hope that they have that contract situation cheered up.
It'll definitely make him happy.
I agree. Jordan Addison is the best route runner in this class.
Mm-hmm.
He's a better route runner than JSN. But JSN put up better production than Addison. Addison is an elite separator. It's definitely a guy I was considering for the Giants at 25. So I'm a little upset he went at 22, but it's a good pick. It's a really good pick.
It's a good pick. With that, we're going to go ahead and throw the Minnesota Vikings on the clock here with 2 minutes to go. This is something that could be interesting. And there's the graphic. All right. Are all these pre-downloaded?
Yes.
He was ready for it. He was ready for it. Minnesota Vikings, interesting offseason. They could go wide receiver here while missing Adam Thielen. They could go cornerback as well. They have a lot of old corners sitting at cornerback. That could be something interesting for the Minnesota Vikings here. Guys, are they going to – oh, we have a phone call coming in to somebody. Somebody's phone's going off. Oh, baby. Braden, what do you think? What do you think's happening here? They're trying to trade down. The question is, are they trading down with the Jaguars, the Bengals? Oh, he turned his camera off.
Oh, wow.
He's getting serious. This is getting serious. Huh. What a draft board so far, by the way.
Yeah, this is interesting.
This has been interesting. 2 trades, possibly a third. Huh.
Yeah, you got to wonder who it is. You got to wonder if it's the Bengals or the Jaguars trying to jump up one spot here. I think it's more likely to be the Bengals.
I don't know here. I'm trying to see if there's a similar need between teams. Who just tried to call Brent? What is happening right now?
What is going on here? Are they going to get the deal done?
I mean, we're kind of given time for trades here. To be fair, it takes more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is fair. Especially on the first round picks here.
Huh.
Give us 1 second here, boys.
Looks like we might have something done and in the works. I'm intrigued. Minnesota Vikings trading back. Is it a done deal or is a pick coming in? Looks like that a pick is coming in. We're getting something here as the number 23 pick has been traded. We do have confirmation that on the clock with the number 23 overall pick is going to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh.
Interesting pick going on here. Somebody that did not have a first round pick, but is take.
Their first pick was at 99, their third round pick.
All right.
So
I
Not
also
anymore.
want to throw in some news here that the Buffalo Bills did try calling to trade up as well, but they weren't able to get it in.
is that who was calling me?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at it. I thought it was someone else.
All right. Well,
My bad, Braden.
No, you're good. You're good.
we won't.
It
We
would have
won't
taken
put,
up a lot more than 2 minutes anyway.
we won't put the clock on.
He's got to think about it though for a little bit because
Yeah, no, he's good. We'll give him about that 2 minutes.
Yeah, let me call my agent real quick.
He's gonna trade. He's gonna trade the trade. All right. If we're doing this, I'm gonna look ahead real quick.
I like getting somebody that wasn't initially in the first round in here though. That's a good move. Makes it more interesting.
Yep. Who do you think the Niners draft here? They obviously have an elite team. They could go a lot of different avenues.
I definitely think they're going somewhere on the O line, whether it's tackle, guard, or center. If I had to pick, the fact that Broderick Jones is still up there is ridiculous. We have, oh my goodness,
We might have another trade
we
scenario.
might have a trade within a trade.
Hey,
Okay.
I did hear the Bills are looking to trade up.
The Bills are looking to trade up, apparently. Brent, good to see you here. I might need to find a team to get involved in with this. We might have a 3-person trade coming around the corner.
Joe, maybe after this trade, if this trade gets finalized, maybe you might have to take the stand here with one of your teams. Get involved.
I don't know what's going on. Can't really say. But it's interesting. It's really interesting.
We're back.
If there was
The
a
Buffalo
trade,
Bills are now on the clock.
The Buffalo Bills are on the clock.
Let's go. I want to see what the 49ers flipped the trade for.
I had to get some picks back after I just lost. I got my 3rd round back.
Oh no, what's going on here?
The Buffalo Bills didn't pick up.
They rejected his offer.
The Bills know what they want.
Can you guys send those trade details into me? Because now we have a lot to go through.
Did you get mine, Joe?
Yep, I got yours. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Give me a second.
They're strongholding somebody.
Carson wants us to talk about teams that don't have first-round picks. Chris, since you are now a member of the Denver Broncos, would you want to weigh in on their situation?
I'm going to have to respectfully decline weighing in on the current situation of the organization.
I think an apology might be in order, actually, from Chris for all of that hate he's given to Russell Wilson over the
I have no clue what you're talking about.
We might have to roll the tape.
We might have to run the tape. All right.
I respect every player in the Denver Broncos organization, and I've never hated a single player in the Denver Broncos organization.
Let's talk.
I love all the players, and I'm happy and blessed to be working with every single player on the Denver Broncos organization.
This seems like a written response that he's.
I love the Denver Broncos organization. I've never hated a single player in the Denver Broncos organization, and I'm proud to work with every single professional in the Denver Broncos organization.
I need to take the tape off of the Sports Outlet show like I'm Deion Sanders.
There is no tape. I've never said a single thing about the Denver Broncos organization. I love the player in the Denver Broncos organization.
Okay, let's break this down. Let's break this down. So the number 23 overall pick was originally held by the Minnesota Vikings. With a trade with the San Francisco 49ers, they traded quarterback Trey Lance as well as next year's 2nd-round pick 99 in the 3rd round, pick 155 in the 5th for the 49ers to move up to the Vikings pick 23. After that, Sean McDermott got and hopped on the lines and gave picks 24 and 27. What the heck? They did a 1st-round swap, and the 49ers gained this year's 3rd round as well. So now the San Francisco 49ers will be picking at number 27. And Braden, what is the pick?
With the 24th pick, or the 23rd pick in the NFL draft, the Buffalo Bills select Miles Murphy, edge, Clemson.
I love the pick, and I love everything that just happened.
A lot of teams fighting for him.
That was something. That was something.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Okay. Braden, talk to us about that while we get the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock.
Yeah, I can see the Bills really wanted to shore up that defense. They got a lot of firepower in the offense. It kind of stalled out a little bit last year, so they might be looking to add some weapons to that offense. But I think shoring up that defense is a great move, especially with a guy like Miles Murphy. He will get pressure on. He can stop the run. He can do whatever you need him to on that line. And I think he would work very well on the Bills with that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles Murphy is a great edge prospect, one of the best players on that Clemson team last year. Just to give you a little clarification on why the Vikings moved down, they were wanting to pick up some picks. That was priority number one. Priority number two was securing quarterback Trey Lance, because your Minnesota Vikings believe that he might have some talent left in the tank after not really seeing his full potential the past 2 years. Kirk Cousins is on the last year of his deal. He could learn a little bit from Kirk Cousins and then potentially become that starter the following year. And I think this could be a great benefit for the Vikings if they were to make this move.
Yeah, I think that's a great move. I didn't initially hear the acquisition of Trey Lance just with all the chaos, but I think that's a great move for them. Just shoring up the future potentially after Kirk Cousins.
To clarify, I'd like to clarify my pick as well. Getting into the first round was great, but we lost a lot of draft capital there, and so we needed to make it a little bit farther back. And I see it as we're blessed to be in the first round. Might as well get a pick back and trade back just a little bit.
I like it. Flip in for some more picks after you just gave some up. I like that.
I respect it.
That's a Sonny Weaver Jr. type of thing to do. All right, Chris, let's hear it.
With the 24th pick, the Jaguars are going to select Jalen Hyatt, Tennessee.
Ooh,
interesting.
That's slandered Trevor Lawrence for way too long. It's time to give him a weapon.
They have some good weapons.
Exactly. Now add more.
Yeah,
he might be able to do something.
Well, I think you got Kirk and Ridley on the outside, then Jalen Hyatt in the slot could be dangerous. That could be very dangerous.
That's a fast wide receiver core. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of speed.
Yeah. And then Zay Jones in there as well. I think he's still there. Yeah.
Yep. He was playing in the slot. So maybe Jalen Hyatt and Zay Jones flip off a little bit.
I can see that.
That could prove to be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to go ahead and with pick number 25, we're going to throw the New York Giants on the clock. Interested to see what happens here. So the New York Giants, Chris, are they the best team in the NFC East?
No.
Why is that?
Just no. There's so many better options. There's almost 3 better options.
They definitely could be looking a couple different ways here between corner, wide receiver.
The worst in the division.
Oh.
it was the little head shake for me.
I got the 27th pick. I got to be ready. Oh, I got the 28th pick too. Oh, sorry, I'm double on the clock now.
I'm thinking I'm agreeing with you, Joe. I'm thinking wide receiver. I'm thinking secondary. I'm thinking they need to shore up Saquon Barkley next year and get him off that franchise tag if they want to keep him. But he's going to be expensive, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with him post franchise tag.
I'm definitely intrigued. Such a suspenseful moment waiting for you guys to send in picks. It's so like, all right, What do we got?
All right. With the 25th pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the New York Giants happily select safety Brian Branch, Alabama. This guy
Love
is
it.
a guy I'm wanting the Giants to target on draft night if he's there. A lot of people don't think he will be there. I'm kind of surprised he is. I think he's a top 15 talent. Sitting here at 25 is great. He's fast, fluid, and very strong for his size, and has extremely good ball hawking skills with explosive bursts to undercut the pass. I honestly don't have many weaknesses for Brian Branch. He's the best safety in this class, and I think it will translate well to the next level. He will be paired with Xavier McKinney in the back, and I expect the former Alabama safeties to play well together.
I think I've seen Branch sliding a little bit in mock drafts here recently, and I'm not entirely sure why. Branch also, I think he has experience as a nickel corner, which that versatility could be good for you guys to have, considering both corner and safety are in need. So that'll be interesting to see how you all use him.
We got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock, boys.
Curious to see where the Cowboys
Brent,
go here.
to get off topic a little bit, how about them Nationals?
They looked really good last night. 5-0 against the Mets.
We might lose less than 100 games this year.
Josiah Gray, really, really good last night.
Oh,
You want to know what baseball team looks really, really good?
Pirates.
I'll be the Pirates, baby.
Carson's been really dialed into the Nats. Definitely more than me. And he's been really hype about it.
telling you.
And they just won 4-1 against the Mets, as I'm told in the comments.
Just because we're the worst in the division does not mean we still are awful.
No, they're definitely better. They're definitely better than the Athletics.
Well, I think our league baseball team is better than the Athletics. I'd rather watch Serena baseball play.
All right, guys, I got the pick here.
Don't mean to slander.
All right. With the number 26 pick in the 2023 NFL mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh. Defensive tackle.
No.
What was that reaction, Breeden?
My two nightmare scenarios.
Yeah.
These are my two nightmare scenarios. Okay. The Giants just got A'Shawn Robinson in free agency. Otherwise, this would have been my pick. But I think the defensive tackle unit is locked. I think Kalijah Cansey is a great prospect, and I think he definitely should have went higher than 26.
Yeah, this is scary.
He's literally the second best defensive tackle in the draft.
Yeah.
He's literally right behind Jalen Carter.
And you want to know?
Go ahead.
You want to know the last undersized defensive tackle that came out of Pitt, who ended up being
Donald?
Yes.
Don't say that.
His game reminds me a lot of Aaron Donald, surprisingly. So it just scares me. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, the San Francisco 49ers, after a lot of if you missed the last 7 minutes, you need to rewind back to pick 23. Wondering how in the world did the 49ers trade up to get to 27? It wasn't just 27. It was a lot more at one point. Guys, where do we think Chris and the 49ers are going here?
I don't know. Like we mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of needs. They did get rid of a few defensive pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a defensive player. Joe, I think you mentioned offensive line. There are a few good players on the board for offensive line as well. So
there's a couple good tackles that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Braden, hopefully I read your mind with that one.
Possibly.
Because with the 27th pick, The 49ers, after all of this, are selecting Darnell Wright, Tennessee.
I like it. I respect it.
It's a good pick.
You need to protect Brock Purdy, especially with that UCL injury. Protect his side for a season because he's going to ball out like he did last year. And especially after losing Trey Lance, you're kind of put a little bit more respect on Brock Purdy's name.
I like it.
I like the pick a lot. The pick is already in for the Cincinnati Bengals. We're just going to hold off on that one for just a second. Guys, where do we think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go here at pick 28 for Chris?
I'm thinking, sure enough, that secondary, they lost Jesse Bates. They lost Eli Apple, which might be a good thing. But having another player in that.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Brandon. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I just think they're looking corner most likely here.
There's a really good corner still on the board.
I agree.
Deontay Banks
Mm-hmm.
would be a really, really good pick here.
I'm really interested to see what happens. Honestly, just what happens this year with the Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, can they take that next step? What's going to happen? And I'm honestly just excited. 1 second. All right, Chris, what do you got for us?
And with the 28th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals are selecting Darnell Washington, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Definitely interesting, especially with the loss of Hayden Hurst.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Losing someone that great, you're really going to look in the first round for someone to replace him, especially because he was such a pivotal role. And yes, there are great cornerbacks off the board, but like I said, this draft class is stacked, and they can find one in the second and third round.
I definitely view Darnell Washington as more of a raw talent, but he definitely has a lot of upside, probably as much upside as Dalton Kincaid, who was drafted earlier. But he definitely needs to work on a few things at the NFL level, and that's probably why he was taken this late.
All right. And with that being said, at number 29, we got 3 picks left. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. I'll see what I can do here.
All right, so the Saints. This pick was
I have no more
tossed
picks.
around a little bit.
It's a tough
What?
scene. I have no more picks. Tough scene. Hey, you can
You
give me a
should've
call. The
traded
phones
down
are always
more.
open. The phones are open.
Hey, might be a possibility.
I know the Eagles need people because they can't win the Super Bowl.
This pick by the Saints was tossed around a lot. Originally from San Francisco,
Yeah, I got ran through by San Francisco, Miami, and Denver.
Miami, and Denver. So now the Saints get it. I'd be interested to see where they go here. I could see them possibly taking a receiver as well. Zay Flowers is still on the board. A lot of people view him as a first-round talent, so we'll see. The pick is in. Who knows if he's ready to give it?
I don't know. You're just going to have to find out. We're fielding a call real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Very interesting. I feel like the Saints, they missed out on their quarterback, but they have Derek Carr. So he's going to be there for a year or two, and then we'll see what they can do afterwards. The Saints are an interesting position for me. They got a lot going on.
All right, guys. I do have that pick for you. Oh, it looks like there's also a trade going on. With the number 29 pick, the New Orleans Saints select cornerback Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. This is really a pick I thought the New Orleans Saints needed. They needed some help over at corner. It doesn't fill the biggest need the Saints really needed at linebacker, defensive line, or edge. This guy's a once in a generational talent as well. I think he'll work very well implementing as the second or third corner here for the New Orleans Saints. I think this is something they can look for, someone they can build, and something that can really be helpful for the New Orleans Saints here in the near future. Braden, what do you think?
Yeah, I think building on that secondary is a good plan. The Saints, like I said earlier, they got a lot to work on. I'm hoping Derek Carr can make them competitive. Chris Olave is promising. It's just interesting. They're in an interesting spot, in my opinion. They're not exactly tanking, but they're not there to be competitive just yet. So it'll be a scenario for them.
Let's give them a minute to get off the phones. I know it's your pick next here, Braden, but I'm intrigued to see. All right, they're off the phone. Braden, you are on the clock with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Emmanuel Forbes, I missed it. That's also a great corner. Deontay Banks is still on the board. It's like steal, in my opinion. Oh, they got a little call going, Chris.
Losing your pick, man.
We'll see how it falls. I don't think I'll be calling you back, buddy.
Why?
We'll see. We'll see how this goes. So, what do you think about the commies this year?
You know, the commies. I got to play them this year, so.
Do you think Sam Howell will have what it takes to lead them to the Super Bowl?
This year? No.
Yeah.
No.
Do you actually
Absolutely
think that?
not.
Do you actually think he's the long-term answer? He played well in the couple.
He played well. I'm gonna give him. He played well. He played well.
That Cowboys game stands out to me.
Yeah, but I need to see more of him through OTAs. Even though I'm not gonna be watching a lot of OTAs, I need to see him through OTAs and all that before I can make a decipher pick.
Yeah, you'll be too busy looking at the Broncos QB situation.
I'm going to be too busy building helmets.
Yeah, that new helmet. Or is it a new uni?
The white.
Yes.
The white helmet.
That might be sick.
Should be sweet.
I'm excited to see how that looks.
Excited to see it in person.
I wonder if they'll go with the old logo, the D that they do on the side, or if
I thought I feel like it's always it might go like a Boise State all white with a Denver blue horse, or they might do a chrome Bronco.
That would be sick. That'd be kind of cool.
That's what I think, but obviously I'm not the man making decisions.
All right. With the number 30 overall pick with the Philadelphia Eagles, Braden, what do you got?
There's actually been a trade. We are trading with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers are now on the clock at number 30. I already have the pick of what I know we want. This is something I actually do think people are going to see on draft night. Scott Fitterer is extremely busy and wants to be in on every trade call. I think this is a pick the Eagles are going to be willing to trade. But I honestly think we're going to trade back into the first round. What do you guys think?
I don't know. There's a lot of options left on the board. I already talked about Deontay Banks, but I don't know if y'all need I don't think y'all need a corner. Do you?
No, our corners are pretty set. We have Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn.
I don't know. I don't know where you're going with this.
with the number 30 overall pick, and I'll let Braden discuss the trade details. The Carolina Panthers have decided to fill the role of DJ Moore in selecting Zay Flowers out of Boston College. This is something that I believe they are honing in on. I actually think the Panthers want Jalen Hyatt tomorrow. I don't think they're going to trade up for him in the first round. I know they want a wide receiver with that second pick. We have a very early pick at pick 39 that I believe is going to get traded up into this first round. So the Carolina Panthers, Zay Flowers is what we got for you with that trade. Braden, you want to break it down?
Yeah. The Eagles traded pick number 30 for Panthers second rounder, pick number 39, and safety Xavier Woods. The Eagles are lacking at safety after the loss of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So the acquisition of Xavier Woods is a good depth piece for them. I think that's a very solid move for the Eagles. With the last pick in the first round, there's a lot of guys here on the board that are here that I wouldn't expect to be. I'm looking at cornerback Deontay Banks, tackle Broderick Jones.
The fact that Broderick Jones is on here is ridiculous.
I know. I've been staring at his name the whole time. It's crazy.
that might be what this call is about here.
Mm-hmm. I see DeJuan Jones still on here as well, another tackle.
Broderick Jones could go in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, I think if Skoronski isn't on the board with that Bears pick at 9, Broderick Jones is a Bears pick. That is such a Bears pick to me. I could absolutely see them doing that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make sure they're on their way here. We're putting the Kansas City Chiefs on the clock. Super Bowl champs. Yeah. So we I think we've gotten a little crazy here in the back 12 picks.
Yeah, the back half's been interesting.
But that's draft night for you. I think we've had a total. If they come through, this will be our 5th trade. I don't think that's too outrageous.
No, that's not unreasonable.
Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. There are definitely a lot, and I definitely expect the Raiders to trade up. Definitely expect somewhere for the Seahawks to probably move around, the Lions to move around, especially with those 2 picks. People can move up, down, all around. This is interesting.
Something that I've heard a lot of buzz about recently is the Dolphins trading up into the first round to snag Jahmyr Gibbs. That would be interesting. I think he's a really explosive running back that would work well for the Dolphins and just make that offense even more explosive.
There's a lot of talent on this board.
Yeah. And I don't think
I got like the nice as it disconnects, never mind. I was going to show you a beautiful green board, but I guess I'm not anymore.
Like I said, I mentioned these guys that we're surprised that are still here, but it's not like I'm looking at any of these picks that we've made so far and saying that they don't deserve to be first round picks.
Oh no, absolutely. This draft class is deeper than others. It is quarterback heavy. There are 5 wide receivers that can go in the top 15, like top 25, something like that. These guys are getting they're going to send like a 3 first-round pick blockbuster where Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce go to the Miami Dolphins, and I mean,
Goodell's just saying no, you can't. You're not allowed.
We're gonna stop screen sharing here. Then the clock ran out, but I'm too intrigued.
Yeah, I'm excited for this draft. I really am.
Oh, we got cameras on. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Sorry, I had you muted. What'd you say?
Who is picking?
A trade has been agreed to.
I would hope.
It took a while to hammer out the details. We had to see which picks each of these teams had, but I will send the trade information over to you, Joe.
Okay. Who's on the clock? That's all I need right now.
Chris can announce.
The Denver Broncos are on the clock.
Hey, that's what we all wanted.
Of course they are.
Russell Wilson. Oh, he's going off camera for this pick.
He's gonna like hold it up. He's gonna pull out the sticky note. Deontay Banks, no matter what.
We got a little crazy at the end here, but that's draft day. Our first 25 look pretty good. I could definitely see the Niners trading up. I don't know if the Niners are going to trade up and trade back.
It's happened before. It has happened before.
But I'm not putting anything past people on draft day. So
I'm 100% positive the trade up and then immediate trade back has happened.
I'm terrified.
Carson says the Chris redemption arc. I love it.
This is crazy.
I'm ready.
All right, hold on. Let me announce. Well, you gotta send it to me.
You should have waited.
Also, trade details are Denver is trading their 67th pick, the 195th pick, and a second rounder next year for pick number 31 and pick number 250. That is hashing it out if I could say so myself. This is an interesting pick. Brent, you might know where he's going here. Braden, do you know where he's going?
The Broncos. I could see it being a tackle. I could also see it being Jahmyr Gibbs. Getting another running back in there would be interesting. Maybe shoring up the defensive line with a Brian Brzee.
Well, guys, the pick is in. Chris, wrap us up here in the first annual Sports Outlet Show draft.
Well, with the 31st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos are selecting Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama.
What a
Beautiful.
pick.
Beautiful.
And I agree, the Chiefs may have gotten fleeced.
We were on the spot.
I gave him something he couldn't resist.
I love how the last between picks 23 and 31, all mayhem broke loose. Picks 1 through 22 are going to look a lot like draft night. But again, all these players deserve to go in the first round. Broderick Jones not going in the first round is heresy.
Ain't happening.
Deontay Banks will go in the first round as well.
Literally watch this man go like pick number 6 tomorrow.
I think the two guys you might be sacrificing those guys for are like a Hendon Hooker, a Jalen Hyatt, and a Jahmyr Gibbs. I could see those guys falling out pretty easily.
But there's always some weird pick that no one expects. Like the Patriots always do that. So
I feel like it's going to be Cody Mock this year. Cody Mock's going to go somewhere in the first round. It's going to drive people wild.
Look at Malik Willis last year. Everyone thought he was a first round talent. He went in round 3. So you never know. That's what's great about mocking and thinking about what teams will draft to.
No, I'm definitely excited. Draft night tomorrow night, got a lot of big plans, guys. Sad we can't be together. I'll definitely be on my phone, ready. Not on my phone when the Panthers are picking. You get a once in a lifetime focusing unless you find Cam Newton that your team's going number 1 overall with a chance at a franchise guy. So I'm excited
as soon as I know what the pick is in hopes of spoiling it.
Okay. I appreciate that, Braden. Thanks. My phone will be thrown in the Lake Thunderbird here at Oklahoma, so I won't be able to find it. But guys, I appreciate your time getting on. Appreciate the fans enjoying all the time and all your support for us. Sports Outlet Show. Don't forget, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all those YouTube-y things. But you guys got anything you want to say before we hop off?
This is a lot of fun. I enjoy this a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again next year for sure.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out from the Sports Outlet Show. And hey, happy draft day eve, guys. Enjoy wherever you're watching it. Hopefully you don't pick a Jalen Reagor. Hopefully you come out with a lot better. Sorry, Braden, love you. But here we go. Draft day tomorrow. Sports Outlet Show. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for hopping on. And we're out of here. Bye.